dire. What do you make of it, sir?
Indeed, India and China are, of course, immediate neighbors, and both have their own channels and constituencies of asserting or engaging influence. Right now, KP Sharma Oli, of course, is the only leader Nepal has produced who is so much closer to China, as was mentioned in this discussion before. And until the ban was lifted today on all the 26 social media platforms, TikTok had suddenly become the most visible, usable social media platform, which again is a Chinese application, at least allowing them to closely monitor what was being communicated, etc., and so on. Constitutionally, Article 76 of Nepalese constitution has provision as to what happens when Prime Minister either vacates the prime ministership for whatever reasons. There are four reasons. But remember two things. One, KP Sharma Oli has twice earlier been caretaker prime minister. So he is a veteran who has done similar catapulting of staying on kind of antics before. That's point number one. Second, if you saw similar bursting out of young people's protests, either in Sri Lanka or in Bangladesh, which we are connecting right now as similar examples, the old guard continued to be in command. It's not that the youth was able to really remove the old politics and start a new chapter. I understand Balendra Shah, the current mayor of Kathmandu, is independent candidate, so presents a kind of a apolitical picture of being a civil engineer and a rapper, and which makes him very popular among the Z generation. And on social media, perhaps there is a clamor, at least the way My Republic Citizens Network is reporting, calling it a deluge on social media in his favor. But apparently, if examples of the neighborhood are to be seen, then we might see that old guard is not going away very quickly, is not leaving the grip on politics very quickly. And the possibility is that we could see an announcement of general elections with a caretaker government in place. And that I think is also required because one big trouble with all our democracies, particularly now we are witnessing in Nepal, is that no single party gets a clear mandate. And therefore, last several years in Nepal, we have seen three, four leaders simply shuffling among themselves. One after another becoming prime minister, becoming president. And the largest single party has about 89 and now 88 members in the lower house of representatives, which makes them really unstable, dependent on others. And perhaps that situation of not being clear how many days I will be in my position leads to indecisiveness, and they can't really carry out long term projects, but also leads to widespread corruption. So, here is a fundamental fight between the old group of people, politicians, blaming social media and young generation for what they call corrupting the culture. And young people are saying it's a culture of corruption. Just reverse the argument. Has become a bit of a folklore in last 1 year or so. They've been constantly contesting with each other. More recently, I think 4 months of salaries of municipal staff and teachers not being paid, etc. So that is the fantastic in terms of social media bubble. But whether it is grounded in the deeper politics of the country, I think that I'm not very sure. In that sense, my feeling is that in South Asia, the old guard is always very much entrenched in how coalitions work out, how
Right, sir.
decisions are
So
made,
let
how
me let
people
me let
come
me
together.
also